The Godfather, The Departed, Goodfellas Casino, Once Upon a Time in America, The Many Saints of Newark. All of these are excellent movies about the mafia or mob, but they are all fictional. There's always some level of embellishment to make it more entertaining for an audience. Even the best mob movies aren't entirely accurate, but here's the real deal. Here's Mafia 101, how the mob works. Greetings, everybody. Greetings, everybody. It's me from my channel, and this is Mafia 101. We gonna be talking about how the mob really works. Not only do I have a personal connection to the subject matter, I'm from New York, come on. But one of my best friends growing up was a distant cousin of mine who became a captain in the Genovese crime family. I didn't know what to make of this when I first heard it. I'm like, wait, I got a mobster cousin? What's he doing? And the guy's name is actually Genovese. And yeah, his father was a capo in the Genovese crime family, which is why my parents had him whacked. No, just kidding. They didn't. But yeah, my cousin's name is Genovese. He was actually involved in the Lucchese crime family. And then his brother-in-law was involved with the Gambino crime family. So both Genovese and Gambino. Crazy coincidence, right? Well, maybe not so much because there aren't that many Italian families in my extended family tree. When I first started talking to him, I didn't want to talk about mob stuff, obviously. Like, we're related. I'm telling you this now. Like, I don't want to talk about mob stuff. And he's like, come on, you can ask me. And so I did ask him some questions. And he gave me some answers. And then when he realized that I was in Colombo, which is funny, he decided to tell me a little bit more about how the mob works. So today we're going to be talking about that. Let's start with the basics. What is the mob? Well, it's organized crime. It's a group of people who come together to commit crimes, specifically white-collar crimes. Now that could include extortion, money laundering, gambling, loan sharking, but it could also include things like union busting and labor racketeering. So that's one thing you should know about the mob. They're not just guys in suits whacking people. Sometimes they operate businesses. Many of those businesses, they have employees. Now, most of those employees aren't exactly working for minimum wage. That's probably not legal. But they aren't earning six figures either. Business is business. You know, if you've got 20 guys working for you collecting payments from merchants, you re-knock on pay them the same as you would a regular job because it's illegal. So it's kind of a weird, murky world. Now, if you're a member of the mob, there's no HR department. If there is, you better watch your back. And what happens if you get injured on the job? Well, there's no workers' comp either. If you get hurt, it's your own fault. So your capo is probably going to put you in the hospital too. The good news is there's no drug testing. What we need to do is get down the basic structure of the mafia. In case you weren't aware, the word mafia comes from Italy. In fact, the word mafia isn't even spelled M-A-F-I-A. It's M-A-F-I-A. Now, when it was used in Italy, it referred to people who were brutal and violent and oppressive, basically a bully. Then it made its way over to the United States and took on a new meaning. It came to refer to organized crime. The main difference between American mafia and Italian mafia is that the Italian mafia is decentralized. There is no national organization. They're just local gangs who use violence and intimidation to gain power. So let's say you're in Italy and you do unpay your protection money to the local mafiosos. Well then, your house might get firebombed or somebody might get whacked. On the other hand, if you in the United States and you do unpay your protection money to the local mob, well, you might get beaten up or somebody might get whacked. See the difference? In the US, the mafia is structured like a pyramid. At the bottom, you have the soldiers, the foot soldiers, the grunts. These guys are the ones who do the dirty work. They're the enforcers. They're the ones getting whacked. At least in the movies, I hope. Above them are the capos, the captains, the bosses of the crews. It's them that the soldiers report to. They're the ones that assign the jobs to the soldiers. Above them are the underbosses, the men who report directly to the boss. Above them is the boss, the head of the family, the Don, the Godfather. Now in the movies, the boss is the smartest guy in the room. He's always got a plan. It's never about brute force. He's the brains behind the operation. But in real life, sometimes the boss doesn't even know what city he's in. Seriously, when I was a kid, the boss of the Genovese crime family lived in a hotel room in Vegas. He had no idea where he was. He was there for so long that the hotel just gave him a suite for free. This boss had been in jail for a while and then he got out. and he didn't want to go back to New York. He was afraid somebody might whack him, so he just stayed in Las Vegas forever. Now, the bosses of the 5 major crime families in the United States meet regularly, at least they used to, in a place called the Commission. Now, the Commission sounds important. It has the word commission in it. That sounds official, and it is. It's the highest level of the Mafia pyramid. But honestly, the Commission is a little overrated. The bosses talk and they complain, but they rarely make decisions. And speaking of the 5 families, let's talk about them. In order of size, the largest to the smallest, we have the Bonanno crime family, the Colombo crime family, the Gambino crime family, the Genovese crime family, and the Lucchese crime family. Now, I mentioned the Lucchese and the Genovese. My cousin was in the Lucchese, but before that, he actually got an offer from the Genovese. So did a lot of guys from my hometown. That's just what happened. And the reason being is because the Genovese are based in New York, but they have a strong presence in Philadelphia as well. In fact, they are still looking for the guy who ratted them out and told the FBI that they were operating a huge gambling ring out of the East Coast. Now, the last time the families were this big was back in the 1950s. There are a few reasons that they've gotten smaller since then. First of all, there's more competition. Back in the day, if you wanted to collect money from merchants, the mob was your only option. Now you can just call the police. Also, the government keeps tabs on mob activity, so if you're making a ton of money, they're going to notice. Finally, there's RICO. RICO stands for Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. It's a federal law passed in 1970 that allows the government to prosecute mobsters for their criminal activities. Before RICO, you had to prove that a mobster committed a crime. So let's say he robbed a bank. You had to prove that he robbed the bank. Now, with RICO, you don't need to prove anything. You just need to show that somebody is associated with the mafia. It's an assumption. You assume that they're committing crimes. And if you can prove that they're making tons of money, you've got him. So today, the 5 families are more like 5 tribes. They're not nearly as powerful as they once were. So does this mean that if you see a mobster on the street, you should go up to him and shake his hand? No, it means the opposite. If you see a mobster, stay away from him. Don't talk to him. Don't acknowledge him. In fact, don't even look at him. Why? Because if you do, he's going to think you're disrespecting him. And if he thinks you're disrespecting him, he's going to smack you upside the face. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button. It tells the platform that you appreciate what I'm doing here. Leave me a comment, let me know what you thought. Everybody always says they'll leave comments, but nobody ever does. Well, some people do. I see your comments. Thank you. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my videos. And if you'd like to support my work, go to my support page. Follow me on social media. I post original content there every day, and I'm not talking about this. It's all kinds of stuff about writing and storytelling and everything else I'm working on. And follow me on another platform. I'm posting videos there every single day, including Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 a.m. Arizona time. Other than that, I'll see you next time.